If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can also be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. How about that? Everything you need to make a podcast is all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you for listening.
Welcome to Affirm Relationship Podcast. This podcast show is in honor of my sister, April Raleigh, who lost her battle to fourth-stage pancreatic cancer several years ago. Our show is sparked by single men and women, couples and parents. We are not all experts. Some of us are everyday people learning through our trials and errors on becoming better individuals. This show will include special guests and co-hosts from time to time. I am King Ya, Perry to family, a father, an activist, fashion designer, professional speaker, and the founder of this podcast. On this podcast, we discuss relationships, health and wellness, beauty, fashion, culture, and domestic violence awareness. If this is your first time here, I want to say thank you, and I encourage you to keep listening. Each week, you can expect to hear thought-provoking conversations and dialogue, as well as personal relationship tips that will help enhance your life. Thanks for spending time with me today. Now let's jump into your Affirm Relationship Podcast. You may follow us on Anchor or wherever you stream your favorite podcasts. We're on YouTube. You can email your story, affirmrelationship@pm.me. That's right, you heard it, affirmrelationship@pm.me. You can donate to Affirm Relationship Podcast through our Cash App. Just go to your Cash App and look for the $ pursue your dream all together, the $ pursue your dream, or you may visit KaiCollections.com. Check out Kai Collections. I think you'll be glad that you did. So with no further ado, we are going to the phone lines, and we want to welcome our special, all of our guests are special, so I just want to say that all of our callers, all our listeners, you're all great. You're listening to us all over the world. We appreciate that. We got new listeners in Japan, in Ireland, Italy, Norway. Oh, my God, we just love it. It's phenomenal.
My name is Roxanne, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. This is my first time listening to the podcast, and so I just wanted to join in if the topics are open for discussion and just listen to what other people have to say as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Roxanne. I certainly appreciate that. So you got the memo about our show. How did you hear about our show, Roxanne?
Well, I was invited by you. I am a purchaser of one of your shoe collections, and so I thought that this would be great for me to have an input and just, get a perspective of other people.
That will be phenomenal. We have our co-host on the line, and her name is Miss Lucinda. For those of you that are not familiar with Lucinda, you are definitely in for an awesome treat because she is phenomenal. She holds it down when I'm not able to be around, and she does a thing. I tell you, you got to take a listen to our previous podcast that we did. Actually, she hosted that podcast entitled Intimacy and Boundaries. And for those that are not aware of who Lucinda is, she is a mother, and she can tell you about herself, but she's a mother, a teacher, and a counselor. And I will introduce her now.
Well, hello. Like you said, my name is Lucinda, and I am a mother and a teacher and a counselor, and I am excited to be a part of this podcast and to co-host with Kenya, and we appreciate your listening, and we
All right, thank you. And we have got a caller on the line. All right, we are going to the phone lines now. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Roxanne from St. Louis, Missouri.
Let's try that one more time.
I am calling from St. Louis.
All right. What brings you to our show today?
Well, I thought I'd listen. This is my first time being introduced to the podcast. I bought designer shoes from your collection, and during that time you told me about the podcast. And so I thought, well, I'd listen in and get some perspective from other people and see what the topics of conversation were about. And if there was something that I was interested in, I'd be happy to speak on it.
Well, definitely. We certainly appreciate that. Well, who can go wrong with the topics that we have to offer? I mean, hell, you've already talked about beauty and fashion. You've already purchased your first pair of shoes from us, so you are part of this brand. So you are family, honey. You are reeled right into this deal. So thank you. We appreciate you, and we're glad that you like the design that we made, the custom design for you. So, yay! Tell us about that piece.
Well, my son is turning 30 years old. Hopefully he's not on here. And I wanted to do something special for him when he was younger.
Okay.
You know, since we're talking about different topics, when he was younger, he was bullied. And so that was maybe about the 5th or 6th grade. A bully who had been suspended from a school came to his school, and, you know, he was a big kid, and so he was the biggest kid in the class. I guess he thought that he'd pick on him, and then everyone else would, you know, bow down to him. So my son, he was a big kid, but, you know, we didn't teach fighting, and so he didn't know what to do, so he came home with a black eye. Oh, I was upset. So, you know, that Christmas, I thought maybe I'll get him some weights. You know, so I got him like just a barbell set where you lay down and the barbell sits on the little armrest. So that Christmas, while he was out, he started, you know, lifting it, and I, you know, got him some books, and, you know, we did some videos about how to properly lift and what things he could do and how many to do as far as repetition. And when that Christmas break was over and he went back to school, his body had changed and transformed, and that kind of got him into being a personal trainer in which he is today. Just that process of having it to change his body and the self-esteem, the way the girls reacted when he got back to school, how he looked and how he felt, that self-confidence. And so he's turning 30 now, and this is his 7th year of being a personal trainer. He quit his job. He used to have boot camps in the beginning, just getting started. And so I wanted to do something to give him some type of personal gift. You know, usually people get birthday gifts, and it gets, you know, a curling iron or a washing machine, a refrigerator, you know, something they can use. I wanted to give him something that, you know, he could wear. And, you know, I was on my phone in the grocery store, and you came by and you saw me engrossed in my phone, and it was, you know, trying to get some decorations for his party. And then I was just talking to you, and in talking to you, you picked up on what I was telling you about something special, and you told me about your unique creations, you know, with your shoes. And so just like that, that was it. You know, being able to put his brand logo on the shoe, on the box, so that we could, you know, offer him something personal, and that when people see that, they'll also see you, and they'll know that they, too, can do something like that for themselves or for a loved one. So, you know, I just thought I had to get on this podcast today.
Well, listen, it's definitely a pleasure having you on the line, Roxanne, for sure. I am humbled, and I am glad that because it's not just me, it's a team of us that actually, you know, do what we do to put this together and create and design these shoes and to make them customized to your liking and your satisfaction, I hear. So I want to say thank you for trusting in the divine spirit, because it was God. God is good. God is good.
It
I just happened to be.
Definitely was. I mean, just the whole process and how we were dealing with business, it might have been a little unconventional for us both. You know, I'm a little untrusting in giving my money to somebody I just met the day before. But, you know, I felt comfortable in talking with you. You know, you reassured me that, you know, this is an uncomfortable situation for you too, but you're going to go with it, you know, because, you know, just our conversation, we had kindred spirits, and we both were not trying to do anything to the other in any kind of unfair way. And so we both felt that, and I just felt that, I need to get this process moving for my son. You seem like a trustworthy person. I loved your website and all of the shoes collection that you had on there. You worked with me and showing me different things that we could do if I didn't like that particular style, if I wanted something different. And I just appreciate you in working with me, and stepping out there on faith, because you're a businessman. So I know, certain things need to go a certain kind of way, but I showed my faith, you showed your faith, and we just stepped, in tandem like that with each other. And so the whole process came to a great end, and I'm happy and satisfied with the end product. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roxanne. We certainly appreciate that. And again, this is all in honor of my sister in loving memory of April Riley, who we lost several years ago to 4-stage pancreatic cancer. She is the motivation and the inspiration behind Affirm Relationship, in addition to the countless men and women, single couples, parents, non-parents, who I have sat down with, and Lucinda included, yourself now also, Roxanne. You are a parent, you're married, so this is your show, right? So this is our show. We have a platform to discuss things that we ordinarily would not discuss between the sexes, and that's what this show is about. As a man, I don't know what it's like to be pregnant. I could not tell you the first feeling, any inclination, what you women go through. I couldn't tell you what it's like to have a menstrual cycle. I could not tell you what any of that's like. But through this show, you women can educate us men on the pain, on the process, on the comfort and or uncomfort level that you experience, and maybe point out to us some signs we should look for. Right? As a married woman, Roxanne, you have some things to offer. You have some things to bring to the table. I'm sure. How long have you been married?
I have been married 3 times. This third marriage that I am involved in now, I've been married 3 years. The first marriage was when I was 18.
Congratulations.
Thank you. The first marriage I was 18. I was very young. My mother was a strict parent. So dating was not a, natural progression for me. And when I was in college, finally from underneath the home, and my mother, I was able to start dating. That may have not been the best thing for me, but, it was a life-learned lesson. And I don't take any of those lessons back because they have shaped and molded me to be the person that I am today. Maybe at the time I didn't think so, but definitely looking back, they have shaped and molded me into the person I am today. And the second time I got married, 2000, I was 30 maybe. And honestly, I'm going to say this, and a lot of women probably would not admit this to themselves, but, you get tired of being alone. And so you've been dating somebody for a while and you think that, well, I know him. And, you don't want to go out there getting to know someone all over again. And so you think, well, I'm going to settle with this. You don't think you're settling, but I'm telling you what I was doing. Settle with this. You get comfortable with the known. And so with all of those things, I've always been the same person in those marriage relationships, but my view was changing. I didn't have a lot of dating experiences when I was young, so my learning was through those marriages. That was my process of learning, and now I'm 50, married for the third time. One thing I learned about myself in those marriages, people always ask me, what went wrong? What went wrong to me was the fact that I watched my mother as a single parent and dating. I picked up that style. You only know what you know. And so I'm watching her date, and my mother was a hard worker. My family got that hard working work ethic. I can work. I can take care of a household. I can pay some bills. But she did not take care of herself in those relationships. And so I did the same thing. I took care of the house. I took care of my children. I took care of my husband. I made sure there was food on the table. I was paying the bills. I was going to work, but I wasn't getting my hair done. I wasn't, taking proper care of myself. I was wearing clothes from high school. I wasn't really looking at myself as a value. I knew I was valuable, but I wasn't looking at myself with value. Like, I should be taking care of myself in this process as well. That, I'm a part of these things that need to be taken care of. And I do know now, although I may have known then, but I didn't pay that much attention because I thought I was valuable. I knew that I was valuable. I never felt any kind of, how you didn't have self-worth. I felt that, but I wasn't showing it. I wasn't presenting it to the world. So in doing that, not presenting it to the world, I wasn't presenting it to my husband either. Husbands. And so, I was losing myself in doing everything for everyone else. And then doing everything for everyone else, I was, not really taking care of the part when you're a man and a woman, that when the man looks at you, he needs to see a woman. And when the woman looks at her husband, she needs to see a man, somebody that looks good, that smells good, that is attractive, that's smiling, that's happy and, attentive. So, my attitude and mentality about all those things, attentive, happy and loving, they were coming through my works of being a woman, a mother, wife. The works, the things that I was doing. Absolutely. That I saw my mother do. I looked at her, and her works displayed a woman to me. She didn't Definitely. Show me that part about getting your hair done and keeping yourself together, because that wasn't what was important to her, because she was trying to do those things. So that's right. What I missed. Mm-hmm. And, today...
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Roxanne.
Yeah.
We've only got a few moments remaining before we... No, you're good. You're good. You're good. And thank you for sharing that, Roxanne. We certainly appreciate that. And, again, this is the platform where we can get that out, where we can share that, share our personal stuff on this platform, right? Because this is Affirm Relationship. I, too, was married. I was married for 3 years I've only been married once. And we share 2 children from that marriage. My ex-wife now, one day she packed some of her belongings, and I didn't know where she moved to. Eventually I found out that she was in Missouri, in St. Louis, Missouri. And I was left at home with 2 breastfed children, 10 months apart. They were infants, and I was taking care of our children in our marital home. I think the saddest part about that is that, the true victims were our children, and I'd raised them. Those were some trying times for my family. So we are talking about relationships. This is the meet and greet portion of our show, and so we are sharing personal intimacies. So that's it. Lucinda? We've got a few moments remaining. You want to chime in?
Yeah, so Roxanne, I myself have experienced some of the things that I heard you speak about. I have been married twice. My first marriage ended with me becoming a very young widow with a 2-month-old baby to raise. And so then I jumped into my second marriage way too early. Due to some of the things that, again, I heard you speak about, the loneliness and the brokenness that I was feeling due to the first marriage. And that was my second marriage was very much a situation of abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. So when I was free of that, I am raising my 2 boys and figuring out what that looks like for me, and, battling some of the loneliness and the other pieces that sometimes we find ourselves in. So I too, again, heard some of the things that you said, and I have myself as a woman and have dealt with some of those things as well. So I can understand.
And so can I, through your eyes and through our experiences. I can also understand as well. And I'm not a woman.
Well, I wanted to just make sure that I told the raw truth about it because, anyone can see themselves in that situation, man, woman, boy, girl.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right. And it's important that we, that we put that out there. We all go through life on our different journeys, and we all experience what we experience. There's a saying, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. And don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. So if you have breath in your lungs, you can look up and see God, and you can change. You fall 7 times, get up 8. Denzel Washington taught me that. You fall 7 times, get up 8. From a scriptural standpoint of view, I remember hearing the phrase or the scripture, a righteous man falls 7 times. Well, I also heard 7 times 7, and then 7 times that too. So, but the point is, you continue to move forward through the hardship, through the hurt, through the pain, and you pray and you seek healing. Healing doesn't happen overnight. Healing can be a lifetime commitment. And I learned that as an adult because, you always pray for healing and, oh, God, heal this person or heal me now. It doesn't always happen like that. The healing process, the seed of that healing process may begin. However, it could take a lifetime. Remembering my sister April, when she was on hospice care for 7 days, those last 7 days were horrible for the entire family. But through the energy work that I was able to administer to my sister on her deathbed, literally, I noticed a tremendous difference in how it soothed and helped her with her transition, and that she was no longer in that pain that she had been in before, going through the chemo, the radiation, fighting 4th stage pancreatic cancer, because by the time they found it, it was already too late. They were not equipped, according to BJC and some of the other hospitals at the time. They had to fly her out to, I think it was Arizona and Texas and some other places, because they were not equipped. And unfortunately, when she passed away, then Washington University had a program for pancreatic cancer patients, and then it was a public thing that some other universities may have also had some treatments for that as well. So my sister was really strong. She was a real strong person throughout the entire process, and she was a thread that threaded the family together for sure. All of the siblings, I come from a large family. There were 7 of us on my mother's side, and my father and his wife, who I call Mom. They live in Virginia, and I've got 2 siblings from that.
Wow.
It's a lot of heartache, hurt, and pain, I tell you. Oh, yeah, a lot of responsibilities for sure. So, that's our piece. That's my story. You guys are listening to Affirm Relationship, and I'm your host. I'm King Ya, and Lucinda is on the line as well. She's our co-host, and you are listening to Miss Roxanne. and just continue to share our show. We appreciate that, and we love you guys, and we want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I think we are almost at that point. I'm not sure if anyone else is able to call in, but we are doing our sister channel. I've got a podcast. We'll be doing a podcast in about an hour, actually, from now. So I've got to sign off of here for now, and I want to say thank you guys so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roxanne. If you have not followed us, you can follow us wherever you stream your favorite podcasts. Just look up Affirm Relationship. That is Affirm, AFFIRM, Affirm Relationship Podcast. And you can find us on wherever you stream your favorite podcast. Just look for it. We are on all of those platforms, I promise you. And thank God for that, right? So right. You can also, if you want to donate, you can go to our Cash App and donate to us. Your contributions mean a lot to us. If you like what you hear, you want to hear more shows like this, then we need your support. It certainly costs to have these shows on the air and to be able to be on these different platforms that we're on. It just adds value to what we're doing. And again, if you guys are listening, and please donate today, you can go to our Cash App /$, pursue your dream. Cash App name, $, pursue your dream. Or you can visit our website, KaiCollections.com. Of course, we have affirmrelationship.com too. We're working on that. These are some options for you guys to kind of support. So thank you, Lucinda. Any final words?
Thank you as well.
You guys want to say anything else to our listeners? And Roxanne, since this is your first time, you want to say anything to anyone, your friends, your husband? Behind every strong woman is a strong man. So we want to say thank you and thank your husband for allowing us this beautiful opportunity for you to engage on Affirm Relationship today. So we want to thank you and your family.
Oh yeah. For those who are listening and were not able to press in to speak with us today, I just have really enjoyed myself, and I'm looking forward to the next time.
Thank you, Roxanne. We're looking forward to the next time, too. This podcast show is in honor of my sister, April Raleigh, who lost her battle to fourth-stage pancreatic cancer several years ago. Our show is sparked by single men and women, couples and parents. We are not all experts. Some of us are everyday people learning through our trials and errors on becoming better individuals. This show will include special guests and co-hosts from time to time. I am King Ya, Perry to family, a father, an activist, fashion designer, professional speaker, and the founder of this podcast. On this podcast, we discuss relationships, health and wellness, beauty, fashion, culture, and domestic violence awareness. If this is your first time here, I want to say thank you, and I encourage you to keep listening. Each week, you can expect to hear thought-provoking conversations and dialogue, as well as personal relationship tips that will help enhance your life. Thanks for spending time with me today. Now let's jump into your Affirm Relationship Podcast. You may follow us on Anchor or wherever you stream your favorite podcasts. We're on YouTube. You can email your story, affirmrelationship@pm.me. That's right, you heard it, affirmrelationship@pm.me. You can donate to Affirm Relationship Podcast through our Cash App. Just go to your Cash App and look for the $, pursue your dream. All together, the $, pursue your dream, or you may visit KaiCollections.com. Check out Kai Collections. I think you'll be glad that you did. So with no further ado, we are going to the phone lines, and we want to welcome our special, all of our guests are special, so I just want to say that all of our callers, all our listeners, you're all great. You're listening to us all over the world. We appreciate that. We got new listeners in Japan, in Ireland, Italy, Norway. Oh, my God. We just love it. It's phenomenal.
Thanks for listening today with us.
And Lucinda and Roxanne, we're signing off. See you guys next time.
Good night.
Thank you, guys. I'm King Ya.
Please listen again.
With that, we say peace, blessings, and eternal happiness. This podcast show is in honor of my sister, April Raleigh, who lost her battle to fourth-stage pancreatic cancer several years ago. Our show is sparked by single men and women, couples and parents. We are not all experts. Some of us are everyday people learning through our trials and errors on becoming better individuals. This show will include special guests and co-hosts from time to time. I am King Ya, Perry to family, a father, an activist, fashion designer, professional speaker, and the founder of this podcast. On this podcast, we discuss relationships, health and wellness, beauty, fashion, culture, and domestic violence awareness. If this is your first time here, I want to say thank you, and I encourage you to keep listening. You may follow us on Anchor or wherever you stream your favorite podcasts. We're on YouTube. You can email your story, affirmrelationship@pm.me. That's right, you heard it, affirmrelationship@pm.me. You can donate to Affirm Relationship Podcast through our Cash App. Just go to your Cash App and look for the $ Pursue Your Dream all together. The $ Pursue Your Dream, or you may visit KaiCollections.com. Check out Kai Collections. I think you'll be glad that you did. You can email your story, affirmrelationship@pm.me. That's right, you heard it, affirmrelationship@pm.me.